All right, so as predicted, it is fucking dead in here. So in a situation like this, you're not going to be able to rely on outside motivators for the most part. You know, there's fucking nothing going on in here. So yeet so high up, that'll get me going. Throw this shit around. Okay. Let's do one more just like that. Okay. All right, a little change in handles. Let's do one more and then move on to a row or something. Okay, let's do a drop set. Okay, I think that's enough on pull downs. Let's go do some machine rows. Okay, so this row machine isn't the heaviest, but with the whole stack, it's a weight which I like enough to be able to do slow, controlled reps and really focus on squeezing. You know, if I were to jump on the seated cable row, which has a ton of weight, you know, sure, I could probably do as much weight as I could do for 10 or whatever, and kind of a swinging, rapid motion kind of set. But like I was saying in the car, when I do rows a bit slower and controlled and really squeeze, I mean, the pump is noticeably better for me. But then again, I also do a couple sets heavy, kind of rapid too, in those same lifts. So, you know, just looping back around to some shit I've been saying almost every video, a combination of really heavy sets and lighter, controlled squeezing sets. I mean, that's the best way to go about it. Well, that's okay. That's not true. That's a good way to go about it. Don't ever catch me saying this is the best way, you know. So let's throw this shit around. All right, I think I overestimated my strength. That was heavier than I thought. That's good though. Let's do one more like that. Okay. I think that's as much as I want to do here. Let's do some machine pullovers. Sam, don't you know you have to put your elbows on the pads. That's how you're supposed to do the pullover machine. Don't hold on to the bar with your hands. Now, that might feel good for you. You know, for you, you might get a super good squeeze on your lats using the pads. But for me, I like holding on to the handle itself. You know, don't just get locked into convention because, you know, you see the pads, so it would make sense. Like, okay, so I'm supposed to put my elbows on here. You know, if you look at a machine and you only think about it in the exact purpose which it was intended, dude, I think you're just thinking within inside the box, you know. Broaden your fucking imagination. But I think it's set with the stack here. Should be solid. You know, buckle in, really try to squeeze. Nothing else to focus on other than that. There we go. Yeah. Oh. 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 One more. Oh. That's enough of that. Honestly, today, the pullovers only felt mediocre. Now, the only question is, do I want to finish with rows or pull downs? We'll find out in a moment. I think some upper back biased converging cable rows should feel pretty good. Now, I know that's a fucking roundabout fancy ass way of saying it, but all I'm doing is sitting down and instead of doing a row straight towards myself like this, right? The handles are a little bit lower than normal chest height, and there's also two of them. So rather than just pulling towards my body, I also kind of feel like I get an extra good squeeze because I'm kind of pulling inward as well, right? It's as if I was fucking, I don't even know. I can't even imagine a movement, which I feel like fucking Captain America in Infinity War, or was it Endgame, where he's holding a helicopter. Whatever. Either way, I'm gonna sit here, really squeeze the fuck out of my traps, rhomboids. I don't even know if you can target upper or lower lats, but I'm definitely feeling some shit going on in here. So I think we'll just finish off with this and then be done. You know, most of these movements, even the rows in that machine earlier, I felt like a lot of it was lat biased. So I kind of want to finish with something more traps, upper back focused. Okay. Let's just check this freaking pump. All right, so 8 sets of back, fully pumped, and I feel satisfactorily fatigued. You know, for the most part, I think, well, I don't know. I haven't talked about volume for a little bit while. Well, you get what I'm saying. So my approach as it is now is I'm relatively under the assumption that if I go in for whatever muscle I'm hitting, hit it with with 8 hard sets Maybe a drop set here and again, you know, maybe a superset every once in a blue moon. But for the most part, 8 hard, heavy straight sets, and I'm fully pumped at the end of them. Then I think that's approaching about as much as I need to do to stimulate either muscle growth or muscle maintenance. Now, I was doing 11 sets for a while, and way before that, I was doing even 25. So imagine a back day where it was 25 sets total instead of the 8 that I just did. So I think over time I've kind of been homing in on the perfect amount of volume for me. But then again, I don't know. Maybe I won't get as big, this bulk, doing 8 sets per muscle as I did in the last one, doing 11, and then I'll have to make adjustments. But you know, worth reflecting. Like maybe think about your last chest day. If you did 20 total sets, maybe that's a little bit much. You know, I mean, I'm not going to say it's not going to work. A lot of shit works. You know, you can get big a lot of different ways, but you know, worth thinking about. I'd say for the most part, a solid volume for a single workout for a muscle group, 6 to 12 sets, somewhere within there. If they're really hard sets, I think you're definitely stimulating your fucking muscle. Now, which number is perfect? Who fucking knows, man? You got to figure that shit out for yourself. Even I don't fucking know. But let's just see what kind of pump we got. Oh. What do you think? Do we look any different from yesterday? I guess now I have a back pump instead of a chest pump, but whatever. Oh. Oh, okay. Let's get a front lat spread going too. Oh. So, I forgot to mention this morning weight was 234.6. I could foresee that getting up into at least the upper 230s over the coming days. And then it'll probably slow down to not a crawl, but just a steady growth. Because I said this in the last video, and I think the video before that one as well. You know, this initial jump in weight as I transition from cutting to bulking, it's really just me getting, you know, full of carbs and water and glycogen. I'm not just going to gain pounds upon pounds of muscle in the first week of the bulk, but the muscle that I already have is going to get, you know, completely full of carbs and sugars and nutrients, whatever. And then it'll be primed to, you know, regenerate itself bigger and stronger after each of the coming lifts. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. I'm going to have to say goodbye to these little bicep striations, if you can see them. But that's just the price of leanness. Or no, that's the price of bulkedness. So let's I'm gonna go slam reverse. Actually, not reverse. I'm just gonna go slam laying face pulls, and then we can come back and see if the rear delts gain any size. I know they will. Stupid fucking question. Where the fuck is the button? There we go. Okay. All right. Apart from the fact that I feel like a fucking baby in a crib, like reaching up, grabbing his fucking mobile when I grab the fucking handle to set this machine up, I really do like the squeeze on these. You know, I'm trying my best not to use any traps or, you know, biceps. Because just by nature, I mean, even though it looks pretty funky, it's basically just a row, right? But instead of pulling down here, I kind of have my arms up here. So if I'm not careful, my traps could come into play. My biceps could come into play. You know, and sure, I could still use my rear delts, but... Oh, I thought I was going to burp again. You know, my rear delts are what I'm aiming for. So the only things that I'm really trying to do is, sure, I got to send a couple signals to my fingers to fucking hold on to the handle. But other than that, I'm just trying to focus on, like, in my mind, I'm almost imagining, like, this motion, right? just my rear delts firing. Now, the fact that my hands are holding onto this fucking handle, that means instead of looking like this, it looks like this. So, you know, whatever you got to imagine in your mind, which will let you squeeze the fuck out of your rear delts, do it. So, 5 more. There we go. Okay. Oh. All right. Let's go check the pump. All right, they're like 5 minutes to close. They're getting ready to kick everybody else out. Well, I don't know what I'm saying. Everybody else. They're about to kick everybody out, me included. So let's check out these side delts and freaking roll. So for me, it doesn't sound very cool, but I kind of get to go a little bit easier with my delts training, just because they're kind of ahead of the game relative to everything else. But rear delts, abso-freaking-lutely incredibly important to making your shoulders look big. Even just sitting here with good posture, I mean, having them developed and they poke out over the back of your traps, I mean, that's the fucking definition of capped delts, you know? Everybody's got some meat in the front from pressing and incline and everything else. And from the side, I know you've probably been doing your lateral raises for sure. But the back, the rear delts, neglected muscle if I've ever freaking seen one. Let's just get a freaking side tricep and a lat spread and then roll. Actually, yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, whatever. Oh. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm freaking talking about. Yeah, dang it. All right. Well, they're closing up. Let's get in the car.